All right, I am going to put together just a quick video on what I have for my home bow shop, if you will. Everything, in my opinion, that you need to sufficiently build and tune your own bows, arrows, etc. Let's start off with what I've got here. This is my Easy Green bow press, and this allows you to press your bows and change strings, cables, limbs, tie in peep sights. Of course, I do my D-loops here, but you don't need this to do a D-loop. I put in my string silencers or whatever you want to work on the bow where you've got to press it. I think a bow press is something everybody should have. Of course, if you don't want one, you don't have to. You can go to your bow shop and wait for them to get it done and hope that they do the best job possible for you. The second thing that I have is a bow vise, and I like this because it allows me to work on my bows, and you can see I can rotate it, and I use this a lot to set my third axis on my sights, and it's just really convenient to set a bow in there and work on your bow and do different things with it. The third item I have here is a homemade draw board. I've just put a boat winch that I made and on a 2x6 with a ruler so I can check draw length, and just a post with a galvanized plate. And what this allows me to do is draw back and check timing of cams, make sure that everything's in sync. I can use it to test my draw weight of my bow. It's great. So this is another item I would suggest you get, is a scale. Now, none of these items you have to have. Some of them maybe buy them as you can, but this is a scale so I can adjust the poundage of the bow and see where I'm at. This right here is a arrow cutting saw, so I can cut my own saws. This right here is a chronograph by Caldwell, so that I can measure the speed of my arrows and see where I'm at with that. Also, I think an assortment of levels for setting different things up, including a T-square or bow square, so that you can get your D-loop set right, squared and everything, so that your center shot can be done right. I use an arrow squaring tool from G5 so that I can square the ends of the arrows after that I cut them on the saw, so that my front and rear of the arrow is perfectly square. And then I use this to check the spin of the arrow to make sure it's spinning true. And this is my Bitzenberger jig, and I use this to fletch my own arrows. This is my arrow scale. I use this to weigh my arrows and my various components to make sure that everything is consistent. And then to do my serving string or whatever else, a bunch of different types of serving, I think is something that we should all have. Obviously, some different tools and all the tools that you'll need to set it up. This is my fletching box where I have different types of fletching and an arrow stripper tool and some other things, lighter and whatnot, different things that go in there. And this is that was like my target setup, and this is my hunting setup where I've got more types of vanes and tips and different things to where I can set up both my hunting as well as my target setup. And I built the table that all of this is on just out of regular wood. Nothing fancy, didn't cost me a whole lot to build it, and just put everything together on it so that I've got everything stationed all in one place. So for me, that allows me to do everything and anything that I can think of that I need to do with my bow for right now. The last thing that I think you should have, and you don't have to, I guess, but I do, is a paper tune set, and that's this PVC here. And what I do is I shoot through paper to try to get a bullet hole. Down here you can see I was bare shaft tuning right there, and then tuning with fletched arrows. You can see I was knock high, and different things. But I use this to check my bear shaft and my fletched arrows to see how well they're tuning for my initial center shot before I go out. And that's the extent of what I've got, other than targets and, you know, different things. But that's what I use to do my bow maintenance, setup, repairs, whatnot. So hope you are benefited from this, and this is just the way that I set up in my own shop. Okay, take care.